In 2011, the UK had 0.07 gun homicides for every 100,000 people. The US, by contrast, had 3 gun homicides for every 100,000. So it's 0.07 to 3. In 2009, there were 138 gun deaths in the UK, where there are 6.7 firearms for every 100 people. Again, so 138 people died by gun in the UK. According to an English Rifle and Gun Club Legal Center, any person possessing a firearm in the UK must possess a shotgun certificate or firearm certificate. Any firearm that has a barrel less than 30 centimeters in length are prohibited. The only firearms that can legally be owned are shotguns, black powder weapons, manually loaded cartridge pistols, and manually loaded center fire rifles, all termed Section 1 firearms. To gain a firearm certificate, applicants must be over the age 14, must demonstrate they have satisfactory security and good reason to own a rifle. Applicants must declare all criminal convictions and name 2 references to support the application. Applications must be renewed every 5 years. Anyone convicted of a criminal offense can't even handle a gun for 5 years. If the sentence involved more than 3 years in prison, there is a lifetime ban. So looking at the restrictions that the UK puts on gun control, or like the way they control guns in their country, and then looking at the homicides in their country, why do you think that it's still worth it to not have the restrictions like theirs?
We'll look at Chicago. I mean, they've got, technically there are no handguns allowed, and they've got the second most firearm murder rate in the U.S. And it said, was it 14 was the age?
Yes.
It's 18 here, and 21 for anything that's not a rifle or a shotgun.
So you just don't think it'll work?
It won't work. Because in 1994, Dianne Feinstein, Senator Feinstein, who is working on the legislations now, she placed a assault weapons ban in 1994, and it was lifted. It was a 10-year ban, and in 2004 it was lifted, and in that 10 years nothing changed as far as murder increase or murder decrease. And the problem with today is 99.9% of all the firearms on the street were either stolen or they were stolen. Black market. Get them word. So they're not coming from gun stores. So the bans that they're working on now, as far as the high capacity magazines, the assault weapons, and everything else, I mean, it's not really going to do anything because, I mean, as far as the high capacity magazines, like, they were made to be dropped on battlefields, and there's millions upon billions of them out there, so they're not going anywhere. It's just going to create a black market.
Okay, so that's what you think. My next question was going to be, so do you think there's good in having, like, why wouldn't the magazines be banned? Because I think what it was, they dropped it from being able to a 30 to a 15.
Right. Well, I think they're trying to move actually to 10.
10. Okay.
But I mean, as far as the 30s, I mean, they're so quick. You can reload them so quickly. It's not even going to make that much of a difference. But it's really only going to matter to the law-abiding citizens, because say if they put the ban on, like they did in New York, it's now 7. Mm-hmm. So if somebody's carrying a concealed weapon legally, he's going to put 7 rounds in his gun, which is the legal number. But the person, if he ever has to use his gun, it's not going to matter, because the person who's obviously probably has a legal gun is breaking the law, trying to hurt him. He's not going to care about the 7-round law. So I mean, the guy's just he's outgunned for no reason.
What's up, man?
So basically what you're saying is you just don't think that it's going to work.
I don't think it's going to work, and I mean, I understand why people are upset. I mean, Sandy Hook, Aurora, Colorado, those are terrible things, but the things trying to be put in place and the things people are mad about aren't the issue.
What do you think the issue is?
It's a crazy issue. I mean, the fact is that murder and insanity is a part of culture, and it's not a good part of culture, but you can't ban insanity. And they're right now they're working on the national working on the universal background check system, and I don't see it working because right now they've already got the national instant background check system, which is run by the FBI, and every time you purchase a firearm, even at a gun show, which is the gun show loophole, which is meth, but every time you purchase a firearm, they run an instant background check through the FBI, and in 2011, of the 14,700,000 something run, 72,854 of them were denied, and of that number, 64 of them were taken to court, and of that 64, 13 ended in prosecution. And if they're gonna, in the universal one, it's gonna require checks on all guns, gun transfers, and ammunition, and it's just gonna create more background checks that aren't gonna do anything. So, I mean, if they're gonna put something in place, they need to enforce it.
Could you explain the gun show loophole?
Well, the loophole is that you go to a gun show and somebody can buy a gun and get it checked, get the background check done, and then turn around and sell it to somebody illegally, which is already a federal felony, which is a federal offense. So I want to know what else
you could do.
You could really do.
Okay. I just have one more question. Does anything about the fact that the right to bear arms is a foundational freedom have anything to do with your opinion about what you think should be done about these guns?
Of course it does. Well, yes, it has a major part because the Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. And the purpose of the Second Amendment originally was to protect from tyranny from the government. And if the government's trying to take all the guns away, then there's no defense for the people. And people think that's crazy and that's never going to happen, but on November 10th, would you expect that the Twin Towers were going to get, would you in a million years said that the Twin Towers were going to get hit by two airplanes?
September.
Shit. All right, we're going to need to redo that. We're going to read.